$50,000. Now, that may not be a lot of money to Republicans like Trump, who, quote, don't think about Americans' financial situation, but that is a lot of money for most people. This is debt people accumulated during the most challenging times in their lives, like battling cancer or recovering from an accident. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, under Biden, issued rules making sure that medical debt would not be reported on credit reports and put guardrails around how that debt can be collected. Common sense things, like companies not being able to come after you for bills you've already paid. Now, to be clear, these kinds of protections were supported by families throughout the country, Director Vought, in rural communities, in urban communities, in suburban communities, and in Democratic and Republican districts. But Director Vought, you took that away when you rescinded those rules. Director Vought, give me one reason why companies should be able to harass cancer survivors to collect more than they owe for a medical bill.
Well, they shouldn't be able to harass, and we have laws on the books that, but the rules that we changed were specifically—
Give me one good reason. You rescinded the rule where medical debt would not have been reported
because the statute
on credit reports. Give me what, you don't have one good reason. Moving on.
The statute literally said the reverse.
There is not one good reason. You claim, you avow that you are a self-proclaimed Christian nationalist, so I'm sure you spent some time in Sunday school.
That's a pejorative.
I'm sorry, did you happen upon a scripture that said, thou shalt make their neighbor poorer, hungrier, sicker, and less safe? Because that's actually what you've done. I didn't ask you to speak. This makes no sense. You are as incompetent as you are cruel and callous. Seriously, there are millions of families who have had to deal with an unexpected medical crisis, including yours, I'm sure. Because cancer and illness do not discriminate. They don't care how fat your wallet is or what your zip code is. Everyone has been faced with some unexpected crisis that interrupted their life and destabilized their financial future, carrying the burden of caregiving, carrying the burden of sleepless nights, carrying the burden of debt unpaid, medical bills. But what upsets me most, please look at me, what upsets me most is the shame that people carry about that debt. So let me be clear to families throughout the country. The only people who should be ashamed of medical debt is the Republican Party, because they have obstructed progress for affordable health care at every turn. And then they rescinded the rule that would have given you some relief.
Would the gentlelady yield?
I will not. This is my time.
Would the gentlelady yield?
I will not yield. This is my time. And he's on his way out the door, and he needs to know exactly the harm he has caused. But the American people deserve to know.
Talk about Obamacare.
I will not yield.
It's Ms. Pressley's time.
Why are you speaking to me when I didn't yield to you? Director Vought, you have gutted the CFPB. You have dropped settlements the CFPB brought against predatory companies that were supposed to provide relief to customers. $360 million to help people gone. Americans are in dire need of financial relief, but Trump and his co-conspirators, his cult of co-conspirators, are making life worse for everyday people, and I mean everyone. Women, the disabled, young people, seniors, veterans, immigrants, and especially people of color who are most burdened by debt and predatory collection reporting practices. That is exactly why I introduced legislation to stop you from hurting people, like getting rid of consumer protections related to medical debt. The American public deserves better. They deserve better than you. They deserve a CFPB director who puts the consumer protection in this, who actually gives a damn, instead of attacking hardworking families who are financially trapped by Trump's reckless policies. Consumer protection should not be a partisan issue or a political game. You have dedicated your career to helping corporations get richer, making families sicker, hungrier, poorer, and less safe, and there is nothing Christian about that.
Rose for 5 minutes. Mr. Rose, you're recognized.
The moment Representative Ayanna Pressley took the microphone, you could tell she wasn't interested in easing into the conversation. She opened by saying she was glad Director Russell Vought was leaving office, arguing that the damage she believes he caused would outlast his tenure. Then she pointed to something that affects millions of Americans: medical debt. Now, this debate didn't come out of nowhere. During the Biden administration, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau finalized rules designed to keep certain medical debts from appearing on consumers' credit reports. Supporters argued those rules would prevent families from being punished financially after surviving illnesses like cancer or recovering from serious accidents. But after taking office, Vought's CFPB reversed those protections, saying the agency had to follow the law as written. That reversal became the center of Pressley's attack. She asked Vought a simple but pointed question: "Can you give me one good reason why companies should be able to harass cancer survivors over medical bills?" Vought tried to explain that existing laws already prohibit harassment and argued the decision was based on legal authority rather than personal preference. But Pressley wasn't satisfied. Before he could fully elaborate, she interrupted, insisting he hadn't provided a convincing answer. Then the hearing took an unexpected turn. Instead of staying focused on regulations, Pressley challenged Vought on his publicly expressed Christian beliefs. She asked whether he had ever come across a biblical passage that instructed people to make their neighbors poorer, hungrier, sicker, and less safe. That line instantly changed the atmosphere in the room. For Pressley, the issue wasn't only about financial regulations, it was about morality. She argued that medical debt isn't just a number on a credit report. Behind every unpaid bill, she said, is someone who has already faced one of the hardest moments of their life. Cancer patients. Parents caring for sick children. Families struggling after unexpected emergencies. She urged Americans carrying medical debt not to feel ashamed, saying the real failure lay in policies that, in her view, weakened consumer protections rather than strengthened them. Vought remained largely composed throughout the exchange. When another Republican member later offered him time to respond to criticism of his faith, he declined, saying there was no need and suggesting the remarks were political attacks rather than substantive criticism. The hearing then shifted as Representative John Rose moved the conversation back toward policy. Instead of debating medical debt, Rose asked Vought about protecting sensitive financial information belonging to small businesses and reducing unnecessary regulatory burdens. It was a reminder that while one side focused on the human impact of CFPB decisions, the other emphasized statutory authority, regulatory limits, and compliance.
Thank you, Chairman Hill, and thank you, Ranking Member Waters, for holding this important hearing. And Director Vought, thank you for being with us today. Director Vought, if you'd like, I'd like to give you a little bit of time to respond to the attack on your Christian faith.
No need to. She's using pejoratives that the other side continues to use. That's okay.
Well, thank you. And again, thank you for being here with us today. Director Vought, one of the recurring concerns surrounding the CFPB's small business lending rule implementing Section 1071 of the Dodd-Frank Act has been the privacy implications associated with collecting and publishing detailed information regarding small business credit applicants. While Congress directed the CFPB to collect certain information, it did not adequately protect against the unnecessary public disclosure of information that could reveal sensitive details about individual businesses or their owners. Small businesses deserve confidence that proprietary financial information submitted to comply with federal law will be appropriately safeguarded and that transparency does not come at the expense of privacy. That is the reason I introduced the Bank Loan Privacy Act to require the CFPB to clarify through notice and comment rulemaking how this information will be published while better protecting confidential information. Could you discuss how the CFPB can fulfill its statutory obligations under Section 1071 while ensuring that sensitive information regarding small businesses is protected from unnecessary public disclosure?
We agree. We are going to, in the absence of your bill, we're going to put it through notice and comment to make sure the public has a chance to comment on it.
Thank you. I appreciate that greatly.
Representative Pressley viewed the CFPB primarily as an agency whose mission is to protect struggling families from financial hardship. Director Vought argued that the